It takes tongs to make a thing go right.
It takes tongs to make it out of sight. This episode is brought to you by Insure.
Are you sure?
Actually, I'm unsure about that.
Well,
but there are some things that I am sure about.
And one is that this is Romper Ruminations. And you are?
Kevin Machino. And you are?
Leo Antonelli. And I'm pretty sure about that, I think.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that this is Studio 8.
It is.
And I can feel the oxygen depleting already as we speak.
All right, before we get too lightheaded, let's begin the proceedings. We're here to talk about Gramma Sutra, which is the title of this episode.
It's old sex.
Old school sex. It's actually a movie script called Gramma Sutra about a woman of advanced years in her 80s who wants to act out every position in the Kama Sutra. The ancient Indian sex guide.
Ancient Indian
Sex
secret,
guide, huh? Yeah. It's
not Palmolive.
You're soaking in it.
Dishwashing liquid?
Are you familiar with the blacklist?
I think I'm on the blacklist.
Not that kind of blacklist. It's actually a good blacklist. It's the blacklist is actually a bunch of scripts that are unproduced in Hollywood, but have caught the attention of movie executives who really like them, and sort of an annual survey of the most liked unproduced scripts floating out there.
Yeah.
This list is based on the opinions of movie executives and so on. It often includes films like Argo and Slumdog Millionaire and Juno.
Yes.
Spotlight were all on this list, and they turn out to be, great successes.
Yeah, yeah. And meanwhile, the senior renaissance is becoming like an increasingly popular topic.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this script by a fellow by the name of Barry South.
Oh, the Barry South?
Wow.
He is... Everything he works on turns to gold, by the way.
Well, this particular script has just consistently made the blacklist.
Just
every
beware
year.
Beware of his web of sin.
Yes. Well, I think it comes through in his writing. But this script has always made the blacklist, but it's never been produced. And I think it's due to its somewhat controversial nature.
Yeah.
Because you talked about the senior renaissance, right?
Yeah.
And these are movies that, feature senior citizens with tons of energy.
Yeah.
They refuse.
Still sort of sugar-coated, though.
Right. They're kind of raunchy. They refuse to grow old gracefully. They swear. They have sex. They drink. They do drugs.
You mean like blood pressure meds and stuff like that?
No, I was thinking more illicit drugs like marijuana. Mm-hmm. They're generally defying the stereotypes of the doddering, conservative, old-fashioned, out-of-touch senior citizen. In these movies, they often strive to do something that that no one expects them to do at their age.
Right.
Like, there's some examples.
Oh yeah.
That we have researched.
You mean like book club?
Yes, book club is a good example. They're all going to read 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay. I think there's Palms.
Palms,
right?
yeah. Where older women attempt to be cheerleaders. Calendar Girls, where older women pose nude for a calendar to raise money for leukemia research. Again, there's an example of they're posing nude, but you don't really see anything.
No, I think
80 for Brady was one where they all attempt to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
These are mostly women involved in these movies. There are some with men, but mostly it's women.
Yeah.
The list goes on. There's so many now that the feisty senior character has become a stereotype in itself.
Mm-hmm. This is a horse of a different color, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because the other, as we said, the other movies are pretty tame.
This is triple X.
But this is it goes all the way, and I think maybe that's why it's still not been produced. But we did manage, of course, to get a copy of this script.
Some lives were lost. Lives were lost getting us that copy. But
well, they made the ultimate sacrifice.
And this is what happens.
They gave their lives so that we may ramble on about meaningless topics. Small price to pay, I think.
It's a reasonable trade.
So should we just talk about the script?
Yeah. I'm down with it.
I'll try to summarize it in a bit of a nutshell.
I think it has to be encapsulated.
Encapsulated is a good word.
Yeah.
Okay. So the main character is 80-year-old Waverly Guilfoyle, who's recently lost her husband.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And she thinks about
How convenient.
Yeah. Well, they had this dream. They were hippies in the 60s, and they had this dream of performing every position in the Kama Sutra.
Right.
And she assumes that, the dream died when her husband died. Okay. But it gets reawakened when her granddaughter's high school tries to ban the book from its library. And Waverly says, you know what? I'm going to act out every position in the Kama Sutra to prove that sex is a natural
and beautiful
thing.
Yeah.
And then all she needs is a partner. And then enter Dave, so to speak. He's a 30-something guy who he runs a local health food store and who's developed a friendship with Waverly over the years. He can't relate to women his own age, right?
Yeah.
He's one of these guys. So he agrees to come on board, so to speak, for the project, which they dub Gramma Sutra. And the granddaughter suggests that they use TikTok to post a before and after video for every position. There's a part in the script where they do a montage of all the different positions.
Or in French, montage.
That's right, for our bilingual listeners. Very important. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks.
And all they have in the script is they use a title card for the name of the position. And then it just says simply they do the position.
Mm-hmm.
And then another title card, they do the position, and so on and so on. So there's not a lot in the script.
Well, you've got to be, I guess, a little familiar with the Kama Sutra.
Yeah. Luckily we are. I mean, all we had to go on is basically the names of the title cards.
Yeah.
And we don't want, we're just sort of going to speculate as what maybe these positions are and what they would entail, because I guess that's left up to the director if this thing ever gets produced.
Yeah.
We don't
really hope it does.
Yeah, well, me too. We don't want to tell Barry Southwood how to write his script.
Oh man,
we're just speculating. It's an exercise.
Gosh, I wouldn't want to mess with Barry South.
No,
nor his script.
No, but we're gonna do just that.
So embellishment.
The first one is simply called the pair of tongs.
A pair of tongs.
Yeah.
Boy, my imagination just runs amok. Yeah. The first thing I think of is newscaster Tracy Tong.
Wow. I thought of...
or two of them.
Paul Tsongas, the old guy who ran for president.
Right. Right.
But either way, it takes tongs to make a thing go right.
It takes tongs to make it out of sight.
That's right. Wow.
And this scene would be out of sight.
That's right. And I think, I guess, is Waverly, like, is she her legs the pair of tongs? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And plus, she's really great in the kitchen.
Yes.
So if her legs aren't up to the task, then she can substitute an actual pair of tongs,
Right.
Which is okay.
That's okay.
It's all about being resourceful when you're an octogenarian.
That's right. Then the next one is the milk and water embrace.
Milk and water embrace,
which I think they should maybe rename for
the milk of magnesia and water embrace.
That's right. Well, it's important to be regular, even when you're having sex.
Hey, regularity is next to godliness. Or something like that.
Godly and cream.
Yes.
Cream and magnesia?
Godly and creamness. It's
What's the next one?
well, it's just called the Queen of Heaven. Kind of vague, right?
Did you say Queen of Hearts?
I wish. Is Juice Newton starring in this?
Well, I don't know if she's quite at that age.
Maybe she's a consultant.
I mean, if by the time this gets produced, she could be the right age for it.
Yeah. And then you'd really be playing with the Queen of Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Or maybe Queen Latifah. If it takes a really long time to produce. Okay, what do we got? What else we got?
Up next?
Up next.
Splitting the bamboo.
Ouch.
What's that?
That's whatever it is, it sounds painful.
Is that like bamboo splinters under the fingernails or something? It
ouch.
sounds more like a torture.
It sounds like a torture, yeah. Well, it's a fine line, between pleasure and pain.
It is. There is.
Especially at that age.
Yeah, splitting the bamboo.
Maybe that happens when there's not enough palm oil to go around.
Oh, she's
not sure.
Keep that bamboo lubricated is all I say.
Definitely. And the spit roast.
Oh, well, come on.
I almost did a spit take just saying that.
It's
What do you think that involves?
a pig.
Do you think Waverly has like an apple in her mouth when she's in that position?
Either that or one of those gag balls.
Which is, they're getting
totally kinky.
yeah, really hardcore.
Yeah.
The next one.
Oh, the mixture of sesame seed and rice.
The mixture of sesame seed and rice.
Yeah, one can only imagine what that would be. But I think I know two of the elements that are involved in this position.
What yeah?
Sesame seed and rice.
Well, it's a good combination, right?
Hey, as George Costanza said once, it combines two of my favorite things, food and sex.
At the same time.
Yeah.
I think that's what that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a pastrami sandwich. Is that a position in there? The pastrami sandwich? There probably is. Man, it's a thick book.
Be, if anything.
That Kama Sutra is huge.
It is.
It's
big, so there should be room for that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always room for a pastrami sandwich.
That's what I say. Then there's the wheelbarrow.
Oh, the wheelbarrow.
Which is...
that might be a little bit taxing or physically demanding for an octogenarian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They may need a walker with wheels on that one.
Yeah, maybe some training wheels.
Yeah.
The training wheelbarrow.
Yeah. I wonder if that could be done while maybe she's watching Wheel of Fortune, because even though she's doing the positions, she's...
We'll make a fortune.
Yeah. She doesn't want to miss Wheel of Fortune, right?
No.
Older people, that's like a religion for them.
What else? Or the Wheels of Life.
The Wheels of Life.
Yeah.
Gino Vanelli.
Well, so she could be watching Wheel of Fortune while listening to the Wheels of Life by Gino Vanelli.
While doing the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think?
I think that makes sense.
That
These
would
are
be
just
the
notes.
trifecta.
Yeah. I mean, if Barry South's listening, these are just suggestions. They're not, again, we don't want to tell him how to do this job.
She's of the right age to appreciate Gino Vanelli, who might practically be an octogenarian himself.
He's probably pushing it.
And we might suggest him for a supporting role.
Yes.
In the movie.
Could be.
Barry. Mm-hmm. Next time we're talking with him.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
What's next?
Sorry. Oh.
What is that? Churning.
It's just called churning.
Churning. What is that?
I don't know, but it's making my stomach churn.
Could you speculate on what that might be?
Well, I think it was invented by Charles Durning.
Oh, because it's like it combines his first name and his last name.
It's a mashup. Oh,
well, I bet he, in his day, he churned some butter.
Oh, don't get me started.
Okay. The next one.
Come on.
What does that say?
Go.
The Cobra.
Oh,
wow. You know what it makes me think of?
Stallone in Mirror Shades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the tagline, crime is a disease, meet the cure.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
The Cobra. The Cobra. Or the Karate Kid.
Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Is there sex in the Karate Kid?
No, I think it's pretty clean.
Well, there should be.
Yeah, not like this movie though.
That's going to be our next project.
Speaking of
The X-rated Karate Kid. But I digress.
that's going to be a tough sell, I think.
I know. Oh. Well, this is handy.
This is the snake trap.
It's got some utility, I think, or it sounds like it could.
Yeah,
You know?
it sounds like it could be also effective on clogged drains. Yeah.
I like it.
There's
Just think, would they be unclogging drains while performing a sexual act?
I think they could be, I don't know, maybe one and the same. Maybe he unclogged her drain a little bit.
Yeah. Or snakes on a plane. A
Yeah.
snake trap on a plane
On a plane.
while watching snakes on a plane
Right.
and having a huge fear of snakes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know where are you going with this?
Well, I don't know. The intersections are all really intriguing.
Again, it's all connected. We've said that so many times on this podcast.
Everything connects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and there's two that was kind of a similar sounding name.
Mm-hmm.
There's supported Congress
Uh-huh.
and suspended Congress. What do you think that's all about?
Well, I don't know, but you know which one I'm casting my vote for.
I'm going to guess the suspended Congress.
Well,
It's when they run out of money and the government has to shut down.
yeah, supported Congress is when they overtax people to keep Congress going. So come on, which one would you rather have?
Well,
right?
I don't know. In the bedroom, I'm not sure.
I don't
Let's keep
know either.
the state out of the bedrooms of the nation.
Well, I think Congress has to be consulted,
Yeah.
about what happens in the bedroom. Is that possible?
I don't know. I think
I
we're
don't
getting
know.
too political.
I
Maybe we should change
guess.
the subject.
Okay,
Let's move on
move on.
to the Thunderbolt.
Oh,
Wow. Wonder what that's all about.
I don't know, but I just got hit by a bolt of lightning.
What does that make you think of?
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
Oh, that was, what was that?
That old Clint Eastwood joint.
Was Gordon Lightfoot in that?
I think so.
He should have been anyway.
Maybe he was Lightfoot.
Maybe he was afraid of being typecast. Oh, what's this one? Wow, driving the peg.
Driving the peg?
What is that all about?
I don't know, but does Winnipeg come into the picture?
Oh, yeah, maybe, or Steely Dan's peg.
Or both?
Yeah, maybe you could be driving to Winnipeg while listening to
Peg.
Peg
By
over
Steely
and over
Dan.
and over again. Yeah.
Wow. So you'd get pretty familiar with the song, right?
Yeah, and that guitar solo.
Oh, that was great. That was so good.
The time they spent on that guitar solo.
Oh, they booted out so many session musicians. You know who they finally ended up with?
I have no idea.
A guy named Jay Graydon.
Jay Graydon.
Yeah.
And they made him do it over and over again, didn't they?
Yeah. They made everyone do it over and over again, but Jay Graydon was the only one that got paid.
Such is the life of a session musician, especially for Steely Dan.
Oh, it's a thankless gig, let me tell you.
Wasn't Steely Dan the name of a dildo in William Burroughs' novel?
Naked Lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steam powered, no less.
That sounds the kind of thing that
Waverly
Waverly
could
would
use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, seniors always they always feel cold.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so they like a little bit of extra heat.
Again, another connection there.
Yeah, a connection.
Okay, but last but not least, we've got something called the curved knot.
The curved knot.
I cannot.
For the life of me.
All I think
Even
of,
picture it.
I'm just picturing Don knots.
Wow. Was an accordion involved in this position?
Oh, no, definitely not. But, they say he was as flexible as an accordion.
Wow.
In the sack. I mean.
In the sack. Don Knotts.
Yeah.
Of all people.
Well, I mean.
So they should have called this position the bellows. Or they could have.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Again, this is all just.
Our fans are going to be bellowing at us soon, so.
This is all speculation, right?
Maybe we should.
We're fleshing out this part of the script.
Fleshing out?
So to speak. This is where the script deviates from the norm with its graphic depictions of the sex. I can't tell you how many times I read the word penetrate in the script, which is unusual for what purports to be a mainstream movie,
Right.
especially featuring older people.
Right. Right. That is graphic.
Yeah, but it also plays
connotations of graphic,
plays it for laughs too.
Yeah.
For instance, one of the first stumbling block is the dryness of Waverly's vagina, which is played for laughs, as it should be.
Yeah.
And Dave asks her about lube. Do you have any lube? And she doesn't have anything on hand. But she is an avid baker and always has a lot of palm oil in her cupboards. That's her sort of secret ingredient.
Palm oil.
So they use that.
That's kind of unhealthy.
It is, but I think if you ingest it, if you use it as lubrication, I think it's not so bad.
It's probably okay.
But they also find it's quite effective. And, there's a funny scene where Waverly's grocery shopping with her daughter and stocking up on this stuff. And the daughter said, wow, that's a lot of palm oil. But, there's a big bake sale coming up at the senior center.
That's right.
There was also a lot of laughs for trying to get Waverly in the correct position for some of these complicated maneuvers.
Yeah, I can. I think there'd be some physical limitations, but
there would be.
Well, there was some talk of the use of a Hoyer lift.
Okay,
which is that contraption that they use in nursing homes and
right,
and that sort of thing
to lift
people, I guess, out of their beds,
right,
and suspend them and that sort of thing.
Okay,
and you have to suspend your disbelief when you think about all this. But so they employed that, and maybe it was in place of a chandelier.
Oh, right, because
maybe it was more feasible than a chandelier, But anyway, yeah. So they had the Hoyer lift kicking around,
right, because of her husband.
Yeah,
right. Towards the end of his life, he needed one.
Yeah,
and they've adapted this now to make it into.
So this is the need to pivot.
Yeah,
that we experience from time to time.
It gains traction, the social media campaign.
Sometimes when you double down on something, it sort of shows that you mean business.
Yeah, exactly. As it gains in popularity, it presents some difficulties for the granddaughter, Annie, at school. She's getting teased.
Yeah.
She stands by her grandmother, and she sort of chides her peers for not becoming more politically involved in this.
Right.
This issue.
Right.
In the book banning debate.
Wow.
She's saying
she's a rebel.
She is. She's saying my grandma's getting railed on the daily. She's my shiro.
Well, that granddaughter was really feisty, and I admire her for that. She also added, in her fight against everyone, she said, my grandma has a lot of spunk inside her in more ways than one.
Yeah, right.
So you got to admire that.
Spunk.
You got to admire that.
And so Waverly's also getting flack from her senior friends at the senior center.
Gosh.
And they shun her, and her
Getting
daughter
from all
disapproves.
sides,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Dave is getting it from his younger friends. And they're sort of disgusted he would even do such a thing.
Why? He should have no shame.
No. But he decides to leave the project. Creates some drama, see? And he comes back, though, because he's had a few disastrous dates with within his own age,
So he's mutated or something. He can no longer be with anyone his age.
Right. Anyone under the age of 70, he can't relate to.
Yeah. And maybe can't perform either. Who knows?
So
it's interesting.
That's, I think, what makes the project sort of take off is this the contrast between in their ages, and a media frenzy ensues. But it leads to a lot of publicity. They get a lot of money through crowdsourcing.
So that's good. There's a happy ending.
Well, there enough,
so to speak.
They enough to take the school district to court. We don't want to spoil the ending.
Right.
because we were pretty sure the movie was going to get produced one day.
Man, this is like Harper Valley PTA.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a feel good movie,
yeah.
so to speak. But we can speculate about the casting because they're,
Yeah.
of who might be a good fit.
Who would be a good fit?
So to speak. Well, before she died, I would have said Betty White would have been perfect for the role.
Wow. I would have said before she died, once again, Françoise Hardy.
Oh, wow. Yeah. From Grand Prix, one of your favorite.
Yeah.
Great singer, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. And, rocking that gray hair.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with these unproduced scripts. You've got maybe some ideas of casting, and then they have an expiration date.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
What about Diane Keaton? She seems to be cornering the market on these kinds of movies.
Yeah.
In her older age.
Would she submit to
the graphic sex scenes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Extreme nudity.
Extreme.
I would call it extreme nudity.
Yeah. Like,
which
beyond looking for Mr. Goodbar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Who's your favorite senior crush, by the way?
Well, I've always been fond of Bernadette Peters, and that hasn't changed.
Wow.
Even though I think she's like 77 now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
Good age. Man, I'm thinking Emmylou Harris.
Oh, yeah. That gray hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic.
But she's had gray hair, she's like Steve Martin. She's had gray hair for a long time, right?
Yeah. That's right.
I like Catherine Deneuve.
The nerve of Deneuve.
The nerve of that.
The nerve of you for mentioning Catherine Deneuve.
Right. Who else is out there? Speaking of Grand Prix, I used to have a thing for Jessica Walter, even when she was on Arrested Development, that kind of when she was older.
Well, that reminds me about a movie about aging.
Yeah.
It's really old. It's from 1969. It's called The Immortal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Starring Christopher George.
Oh, who's married to Linda Day George, the high foreheaded Linda Day.
Yeah, yeah.
George.
She's just this pillar of wisdom when you see that high forehead.
It's all forehead.
She's
like
she's advanced.
A big brain, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, The Immortal with Christopher George, about this guy who just doesn't age, and after a while, everyone's after him.
Oh, for his secret.
For his blood.
Oh, for his blood. Probably want to get in on that. Like Keith Richards is in line and trying to get in there. Give me some of that.
But Jessica Walter is in The Immortal. Okay. She's in that movie. And I don't think it ever hit the big screen, but it's a great movie.
But ironically, I think Christopher George, didn't he die like 52 or something?
Yeah, he died really young. So
not imitating life or what?
Yeah.
It's hard to say in the script whether these activities are making her stronger or weaker.
Was she a sturdy woman?
I think so. Yeah, for her age. Yeah.
Or she started out sturdy.
She started out sturdy after a while.
Then,
he tore her down.
And then the grueling pace of the
lovemaking sessions.
The lovemaking sessions maybe took it out of her.
Toll, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad.
Maybe that would be a good way to end it. She just dies in the end. Yeah. But what a way to go. I mean, I don't.
Well, that has often been said.
I'm not going to tell
right?
Barry South how to write his scripts here.
Well, no, but you would think that, like a lot of people talk about the ultimate way to go.
Yeah.
And it would be like dying in the throes of passion.
That's got to be right up there, I think.
Right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So maybe she had a death wish or a beautiful death wish.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's all speculation.
Would that make Dave, though, guilty of manslaughter, though?
He'd be an accomplice for sure.
Right. In my case, it would be death due to criminal negligence, I think, if I was playing Dave.
Well, if Dave neglected her, that would be criminal negligence as well.
That would be criminal, especially if they got someone like Catherine Deneuve to play the nerve of neglecting.
The nerve of Dave
to neglect.
To neglect de nerve.
In a negligee.
It is.
Too much.
Oh, boy.
But again, we digress.
I know, but I can't help but digressing. We're romping up the ramping.
Yeah.
Or ramping up the romping.
Or romping up the ruminations.
Yeah.
Do these kinds of movies, do they do more harm than good, Or about ageism and how old people are depicted in the media?
Well, I don't know. There's different ways of looking at it. I personally think it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, any exposure is good exposure, right? So to speak.
So to speak. I took what I could get, I think.
I think, Waverly did as well.
Waverly.
Yeah.
It's a name you don't hear too often.
No. Maybe, catch the Waverly. In the Hoyer lift. Yeah, but maybe one day this thing will get produced and we can, and the speculation about the casting and actually go see this thing.
Yeah.
I would love to.
So it's going to have a really crazy rating at the movie theater, right?
Yeah. Must be accompanied by senior citizens.
Strict. It's like R squared.
R squared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like restricted squared. Or cubed or something exponential.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the age. Oh, I like it.
I want to thank Sean Bogenkamp, who does the music, but he also came up with the research in this movie along with his wife, Nicole Armour.
Did you say research?
Yeah, we have researchers. Well, I mean, informal researchers.
I should be such a researcher.
You should.
I'm going to call up Catherine Deneuve and see.
Didn't do some research.
And do some research.
I think that's the nerve of that, of you to think you could do that.
It's a nervy proposition.
Right. Okay. Well, I think I hear our outro music.
Well, it's all right because I've got a Hoyer lift to catch anyway. So.
Okay. Well, you better do that, and we'll see you next time on Romper Rumination.
Thanks for listening.